Welcome to Passion for the Pastime, where baseball lives 24/7, 365. Catch conversations with beat writers, broadcasters, current and former players of all levels. Now here's your host,
Walter Balsetta. Whoops, I fumbled. I got to get out of here.
Walter Balsetta.
Yo, what is up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Passion for the Pastime here on a Wednesday. We are 14 days away, Patrick Bailey days away, Mike Fontenot days away, Fred Lewis days away from the pending due date of my child. So just let everybody know what's going on in the life of Walter. But what is up, everybody? Welcome in here to Passion for the Pastime. We're going to talk a lot of Giants baseball here tonight. Not going to waste any more time. We have a special guest tonight, live from Orlando, John Shea of the SF Chronicle, or I'm sorry, not the SF Chronicle, SF Standard. My apologies, John. But what is up, man? Good to hear from you. How you doing today?
Are you saying we're Pete Rose days away from all of this great news?
Yeah, we're
congratulations.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, we're Pete Rose days away. I'm trying to think of other 14s in baseball, but Patrick Bailey is the most recent San Francisco Giant.
Well, let me give you a little trivia. Let me give you a little trivia question. Which two left-handed pitchers in Giants history wore number 14 and had their first name on the back of their jerseys, not their last name?
Ooh, their first name on the back of their jersey. I don't know, John.
They both wore 14. They were both left-handed pitchers. They both pitched for the Giants. And they both had their first names on the back of their jerseys.
I'm not sure. Who is it?
Vida and Atlee.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Vida. I forgot that Vida was a 14. Wow. That
35 in Oakland and 14.
Wow, look at that. All right, man. Well, thank you for that trivia. Really appreciate it. I'm going to lock that in the vault. I'm never going to forget that now.
We'll talk tomorrow about some 13 trivia.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, hey, John, really appreciate you stopping by here to talk some Giants baseball. I know you are busy at the winter meetings, man. Or maybe not so much. I mean, what's going on at the winter meetings? Not a lot of news on the Giants front, but what's the latest? What are you hearing?
Well, they picked up a backup catcher today.
Yeah.
We're familiar with the Susac family out of the Sacramento area. Andrew was a catcher. He got a ring in 14 for the Giants, and now his younger brother by about 10 years, Daniel.
Yep.
Drafted in the first round by the A's, and there was really no room at the major league level, so they exposed him to the Rule 5 draft. The Giants wanted him, worked out a deal with the Twins who drafted him, that dealt him to San Francisco. So, there's like kind of a lack of catching depth in the organization. There's Patrick Bailey and little more. So this guy has to be the backup catcher, or because of a Rule 5 formality, would have to be sent back to the A's or offered back to the A's, or otherwise they would cut a deal. But it seems for now they really dig this kid. Had a nice offensive season in AAA, but a lot of people do because it's a hitter's league. His defense is on the upside, a little better than it was apparently. The catch and throw is getting there. So I think Posey really liked this kid, a catcher who knows catchers. And
yeah, for sure.
Here he is. So it's Susac family, another Giants, probably rare. I don't know how far we have to go back. Obviously, the Alou brothers, but brothers who played for the Giants.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a rare occurrence. I just think in baseball. I mean, we've seen the trend of father-son duos, not necessarily on the same teams, but just the lineage with Bo Bichette, obviously with Dante Bichette and the Vladdies, obviously most notably. But yeah, no, really interesting to see the brothers. Obviously, I mean, I guess most recently would be Tyler Rogers and the Roger twins.
Of course.
Most recently, but yeah, no, I mean, really interesting stuff to see that with the selection, Daniel Susac. Now, really quickly, just looking at the catcher position, John, does that have any effect, at least in the long-term goals of a Jesus Rodriguez?
That's a great question because I was thinking about him. He never got called up to the majors, but called up to the clubhouse for the
Yeah.
final month of the season just to work with the coaches and the other catchers and to get a taste of what the big leagues are like without actually playing the game at this level. And he came from the Yankees at the deadline in the Doval trade. He had really super numbers
Hmm.
offensively, but never really got much of a chance because the Yankees have always been kind of stacked with minor league catchers at every level. So comes to the Giants, and I don't think they believe he's ready to be a major league catcher defensively.
Okay.
The offensive numbers play. He's got this funky swing, but I think they like his potential. So I imagine he'll be AAA guy for now. Um, and Susac will be the backup, and Patrick Bailey. It'll be a nice combo because Bailey's strength is as a switch hitter from the left side,
Mhm.
Susac from the right side.
All right. Well, that'll be interesting to follow along for sure. But that is the acquisition for the Giants earlier today. Daniel Susac, catcher, brother of Andrew Susac, who we all remember was the backup catcher for, I believe it was it 24? I think it was 2014 team.
Right.
For the Giants. So, but that's about it, John. I mean, there's been a lot of rumors, a lot of things thrown here and there and everywhere. We're trying to figure out what direction the Giants team is going, specifically with the front office. But before we get more into the player side of things, I do want to kind of get your thoughts on the coaching staff. There has been just nothing but great hirings here and there. Ron Washington being a guy, and then you see Jesse Chavez obviously being brought in for the Giants organization. A lot of guys bring in Hunter Mentz, right, for the Blue Jays to come in for the hitting coach side of things. So they're obviously the big name was Tony Vitello, right? He comes in here, not a lot of major league baseball experience, but now the coaching staff is starting to assemble around him, and there's a lot of major league pedigree around there. So what are your big takeaways from the Giants hiring and the handling of the coaching staff as it comes to fruition?
Well, it's going to be unique and diverse. They have some college presence. They have some pro presence. They have some managerial presence
Mm-hmm.
with Jace Tingler, who'll probably be the bench
Yeah.
coach, Ron Washington, who's the hitting coach. And I was told that Ron probably wouldn't be a base coach. So it's funny. I just pulled myself out of a restaurant, and Ron Washington and them are just a few tables away. The entire coaching staff kind of had a get together late today in a conference room here at the hotel, and then all went out to dinner. So they're just here at the end of the lobby restaurant, and kind of a bonding experience, a get to
Yeah.
know each other experience. So for Tony, and not just Tony, but for everybody else. So yeah, a couple of guys interested to see. Having covered Ron Washington in Oakland so many years, just love the man. I did a day in the life story with him, kind of just met him in Alameda at his condo and drove to the park together. I was on the field when he was working with Bobby Crosby with these pancake gloves that teach you to use your hands, and
Yeah.
hung out with him a little bit into the game, and then post game went back home with him. Just his feelings on a day in the life, and what a wonderful guy. He's going to bring huge resources and knowledge and experience to that team, especially with guys like Devers at first base, who's learning to
Yeah.
play the bag, Eldridge, who's learning to play the bag, and maybe he even makes Chapman better. Chapman didn't win a Gold Glove stunningly. He didn't. He was out with injuries, but
Yeah.
Adames can learn big time from that guy, and whoever plays second base. So huge resource. Frank Anderson is another guy, Brett Anderson's dad, and if Frank, his dad, is anything like Brett, he's probably got a pretty good sense of humor. Brett Anderson, the lefty we saw in Oakland and
Hmm.
around the league as well. Um, but I just I mean it's kind of got everything.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Jesse Chavez, who quit the game as a player midseason last year in Atlanta and has been thinking about getting into the coaches ranks just to see how it goes. So an immediate transition for him. And speaking of Ron Washington, I think it was Vitello's idea, by the way,
Yeah.
to reach out to Wash to see if he'd be interested. And he's 73, Anderson is 66, and then they got some, 20 somethings and 30 somethings. So it's quite the diverse staff, and it's real smart for them all to get together here and
Yeah.
meet and discuss their livelihood, their future, their passions, and what they think about this team and plans for spring training. So uh, it hasn't been announced officially, but we kind of know who everybody is. It's kind of a goofy thing why this coaching staff hasn't been announced.
Right.
It's just a matter of maybe fine tuning some things or getting one more guy in here as well. But it's they've been spending an awful lot of time on that and maybe less on, well, I won't say less on the roster because they've been working on the roster, talking with free
Right.
agents, talking with trade possibilities, but so far nothing really has gotten done.
Yeah, it's really interesting to follow along what they're doing with the coaching staff, and you mentioned Ron Washington. It's just a lot of. I mean, he's a great baseball mind. You know what I mean? Like when the Giants faced off against the Texas Rangers, and they had to go through Ron Washington and that team. You know, my heart sank because he was just a baseball lifer. You wanted him to get that, and then the year following with the Cardinals, that was something that I really wanted Ron Washington to accomplish. And then also the other guys with the pedigree with Dusty Baker, they're not, and Bruce Bochy, they're not on the coaching staff, but they are around. So I feel like this coaching staff, especially surrounding Tony Vitello, will be very interesting to follow. But you were talking about Ron Washington, and if anyone has any free time, obviously not right now because we're talking with John Shea of the SF Standard to talk some Giants baseball. But if you can go ahead and search on YouTube and just look up fielding drills with Ron Washington. It is just a science. It is so precise. It is a beautiful thing to see, just the way that he breaks it down, right? So I think the morning show was even talking about that when the news came out. But talking about that, the infield guru, right? I mean, you mentioned Rafael Devers, you mentioned Bryce Eldridge potentially to help him out a little bit defensively. Now, does this hire have anything to do specifically with Casey Schmidt when you look to the position of second base, where they might want to maybe upgrade at that position, or are the Giants kind of comfortable, especially with bringing in a Ron Washington with what they currently have at second base?
A couple agents did tell me the Giants were indeed looking for a second baseman. They wanted to upgrade. But talking to the front office officials, they keep saying, we like Schmidt, we like Schmidt. He just had wrist surgery.
Yeah.
And he's going to be out several weeks. So he's going to have to ease into spring training. I'm told the medical staff is thinking he'll be 10 days to 2 weeks behind everybody else, which, considering spring training is 6 weeks, maybe isn't that big of a deal. He's still on target for opening day. They like his bat potential. His arm obviously is very strong. Former third baseman who can still wing it from shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
And what I noticed last year versus Christian Koss, for example, who has been a middle infielder his whole life and knows everything about range and quickness and speed and reaction and instincts, is, Casey as a third baseman didn't need all kinds of range. It's
Right.
quick twitch to his left, quick twitch to his right. But now he needs to go up the middle for that three hopper behind second base, or that ball in short right field to his left and make plays. And he didn't show the range that he was hoping for. And you told me the last day of the season that that's a priority for him in the offseason. I mean, he's got the wrist surgery, but he could still work on his foot movement and leg work, that he wants to work on his range. And, good for him. He knows that it's a deficiency. And if he improves that, his bat is a possible 20 homer bat. It's got to limit the strikeouts because there's too many guys in that lineup who K too much.
Yeah.
And they want more bat to ball hitters surrounding the Chapmans and the Devers and the Adamises. So I like him. I thought he had potential to be a major league shortstop a couple years ago. But I think right now, Christian Koss is looked at as a utility man, and I think because they have so many other holes, right
Right.
field, the rotation, bullpen, that I think they will most likely stick with Casey Schmidt at second base.
Yeah, I could definitely see that because of what you just highlighted there is the other holes that they have on this roster, specifically right field. And unfortunately for Giants fans, the ones that did want it to happen, I mean, we're talking about reunions with Bruce Bochy coming back. Mike Yastrzemski no longer on the table.
Yeah.
He just went to the Atlanta Braves. So yeah, we'll have to see what they end up doing with the right field position. If they're going to move off of Luis Matos, if it's Dylan Gilbert. I mean, there's a lot of potential there for sure. But switching out to the outfield, John, not necessarily an outfielder in this day and age, but Kyle Schwarber signed earlier in the winter meetings, and he wouldn't be an outfielder. He was mainly the DH option, and the Giants apparently inquired on Kyle Schwarber at one point or another. It wasn't necessarily realistic for the Giants to go after. I was kind of shocked when I heard that report. I was just like, oh, that doesn't really make sense. They already have a surplus at that position with a DH and also with Bryce Eldridge first base and that conundrum. But so switching just out to the outfield, right? Another power bat, because if they were inquiring on Kyle Schwarber and what we heard with Scott Boras, and he mentioned the Giants in his little poem that he gave the other day. Are the Giants looking to add a bat, specifically a power bat in right field, and could that potentially be Cody Bellinger, or are they maybe looking at some outside trades, or will we look at maybe a Harrison Bader, who I think he'd be a great Giant. He fits the outfield dimensions as far as being a defender. So where do you think the Giants go with that outfield vacancy?
Yeah, I think, Bader is more realistic than, say, a Kyle Tucker. They've got so many 5-6 year contracts. They don't want to clog the system and not, allow future opportunities in-house or from players from other teams. But right field is a priority, not as much as the rotation and bullpen, but it's the biggest hole in the lineup. We talked about every other position with Ramos in left and Jung Hoo in center, and depending on if they get a better defender than Jung Hoo, we'll see what happens there. But for the most part, they need a big stick in right field. Their lineup came around toward the end when they rallied before kind of going in the tank, and I don't think that can be promised over 162. Just a lot of forces finally came together. They weren't a good team after they got Devers right away. It took some time, and I think they need another big bat in right field. Maybe they're not willing to pay big money for Tucker, but I think enough lesser or more reasonably priced outfielders will be on the market. I'm not sure about a trade possibility in right field. I think they need a trade for starting pitchers, relief pitchers. They have an abundance of young outfielders, and obviously they have Bryce Eldridge. And Bryce Eldridge has to be considered as a possible trade bait, depending on what they could get in return, because they just have too many holes in the rotation, and there's all kinds of redundancy with Devers and Eldridge, both playing the same position, both batting left-handed. So they said it could work with the DH, but you'd hate to see a 21-year-old be relegated to DH duties. You'd love to see him kind of learn on the fly a position so that maybe he turns into an above-average first baseman, especially on Wash's watch.
Yep.
He's 6'7", huge target, the biggest target, tallest since Damon Minor. Willie McCovey was only 6'4", and that helps. That helps with Chapman's high throws or Adamas's high throws, and now it's a matter of him kind of learning the position further. But is great trade bait, right? What do you think? I mean, this is a guy you could get some big time arms for, and you hate to lose him because you don't know if he's going to be the next Will Clark in that.
Yeah, I mean that's the question, right? I mean, especially when you look to prospects, you know, how much are you willing to invest in a certain prospect? And obviously, Bryce Eldridge is the biggest prospect that the Giants have had in quite some time, and there's a lot of excitement around this young prospect. But again, every time you talk about Bryce Eldridge, it's prospect, prospect, prospect. You don't know what he's going to be. You don't know if it'll pan out. So I mean, if it were up to me, I would love to get pitching in return, obviously, for a Bryce Eldridge. And looking specific, like, could you get a Hunter Green? Could you get? I don't know if you'd want to do a Freddie Peralta or a Scooble, because they're not under control, right? That would be my biggest thing, would be to get someone that's under control in the pitching aspect of things. If I were to entertain a trade of Bryce Eldridge, but he is definitely the biggest token, the biggest ticket that the Giants have. So it would be interesting to see what they can get in a possible haul. But yeah, I'm with you in that it would have to be in the starting pitching realm, because I mean, when you look at their rotation right now, Robbie Ray is done after this year, contractually anyway. You have Landon Roop there, and then you have Logan Webb, and you kind of have a lot of question marks elsewhere. You have Carson Wisenhunt, of course, and Hayden Birdsong didn't have the 2025 season that he would have wanted to have. So there's a lot of question marks with the pitching rotation. So yeah, if you can bring in a known commodity in that regard in return for Bryce Eldridge, I'm all for that. But let's stick with the starting pitching really quickly before I can let you go here, John. And thank you so much for your time. With the really just a real quick note on the draft positioning for the San Francisco Giants, right? They got the number 4 draft pick for the 2026 draft. Now, do you think that positioning has any change in philosophy as far as how much the Giants are willing to go sign a guy that has a qualifying offer on them, like a Michael King, like a Zach Gallen, like if that would change it? Because obviously a 4 is different from a 14, right? You're more likely to get and hit with that pick in the draft than you are late in the middle tier. So does that change the philosophy maybe for the Giants at all in their willingness to lose draft picks? Obviously, they're not losing a first round pick; they're losing the second rounder. But what do you think in that regard?
Yeah, I think they should. They need to, and I think they will consider it now. That pick is protected, and the Zach Gallons of the world now, if they sign him for 50 million or more, or less rather, say 3 years or 2 years, then they're better protected in terms of draft picks. If they sign him for a lot more, they're less protected. It's kind of complicated language, the way this is all presented, and the whole draft compensation thing,
Yeah, yeah.
depending on your market size and your revenue. I think the bottom line, though, and I've asked this question to front office officials every which way I could, and they some of them are trying to just digest the fact that they just got the number 4 pick. Kind of
Right.
changes everything. I mean, these
Yeah.
are the Giants. Things don't happen like that in the
Right.
draft to them.
They usually get like 11th.
Right.
like they don't get
or
good things. Good things don't happen.
and when they were good, it was 28th. And
Yeah. Yeah.
hey, Matt Cain, but
Yeah.
it doesn't always work that way. The last high pick was Joey Bart. That wasn't great. And Posey and Will Clark and Matt Williams. I think there's been only top 5 picks in their history. So, meaning they've been good enough not to have those high picks. And in this time, it was a stroke of luck. And I spoke to Randy Wynn, who represented the Giants
Yeah.
in the draft room today, and I said, "Hey, man, how you feeling?" He says, I'm very uncomfortable in the fact that everybody is so nice to me today. And I'm not sure if I like it so much. What did I do? I sat on a stool and didn't fall over. That's I love his sense of humor. Bay
Yeah,
Area
yeah,
kid, Randy Wynn, Hooper
yeah.
at Santa Clara. But yeah, I think this kind of changes everything. I talked to Michael Holmes, the scouting director. He was absolutely thrilled. Obviously, you don't want to be in this position in the future because it means you're a lottery team. But at the flip side, how cool is it to have the number 4 pick? And I asked Holmes about the pool, the talent in the draft, especially at the college level. And he said, up the middle, it's just killer. Shortstop,
Yeah,
center fielders, and arms dominate the day. And I said, what about Tony Vitello? He's just coming off the college ranks. Can he be a
right.
resource? He said, absolutely. And I've already talked with him about it. And he's given me some pointers on some of these top end college kids. So not only does he
Right.
know the stats, he knows the personalities, he knows the parents. He probably recruited them all or tried to.
Yeah, right.
So, I imagine the new manager will be busy. It's kind of nice timing. The stars are aligning. We got this college kid coming in. College kid, he's 46, and managing the club. But
Yeah.
also, what a great advisor on draft day.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, when I saw that pick happen, I didn't believe it to be real, and then I was just like, wow, yeah, like you just said, stars are aligning. Tony Vitello coming over from the college ranks, and then they get a top 5 pick
Yeah.
in the preceding draft. So yeah, really interesting to follow that along and see what the Giants end up doing with that, because yeah, as you mentioned, a small selection of top 5 picks for the Giants. You could be a Will Clark, you could be a Matt Williams, you could be a Buster Posey, or you can turn out to be a Joey Bart, or you can be who's the other guy, Jason Gill, right?
Grilly, yeah,
Yeah, Grilly, yeah, Jason
who
Grilly,
got traded to Pittsburgh, I think, maybe in the
yeah,
Jason Schmidt deal,
yep, and he
if I'm
ended
not
up
mistaken.
getting turned out to be a decent closer for a couple of years, and he kind of
Huh,
bounced around after that.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you never know which way it can go. But yeah, all the resources put it into that pick. Yeah, put it into that pick for sure. But John, really, thank you so much, man. I won't take up any more of your time. I know it's late there in Orlando, but just want to thank you for stopping by the podcast today, talking some Giants baseball, and I'll talk to you soon.
Well, thanks so much, and congratulations to you. Good days are ahead, my man.
Thank you, man. Yeah, thank you so much. John, I'll talk to you later, man. All right, that was John Shea of the SF Standard. Great stuff there. What's up, everybody, here in the YouTube chat? Let me go ahead and get all of this up and running. That was John Shea of the SF Standard. I almost said Chronicle again. My apologies for that. SF Standard. You say it a couple of times and it just rolls off the tongue, and you have to retrain your brain. But let me go ahead and pull up the comments real quick. Let me get you guys in here. Hey-o, what is up, everybody in the YouTube chat? Shay, hey. Yeah, go ahead and give him a follow. A lot of great stuff there with John Shea, talking some Giants baseball here. And not a lot really to dive into too much, because the Giants aren't doing anything. they haven't done too much. So nothing to really get excited about. But as you hear it there, they got the 4th overall pick in next year's draft. What that means, I do feel like, just pivoting off of that question that I asked John, I do feel that with the positioning of their draft capital now, right, with getting the 4th overall pick, and I don't know really if this had any bearing at all, but I would just feel that if my odds of getting someone in, like, someone that can hit in the first round just drastically improved, like my odds got way better, then I would focus everything in on that pick, and maybe I won't necessarily need to use some of the other picks that you would end up surrendering if you went and got a guy with a qualifying offer. I mean, we talked about it with John Shea. We all know, we've discussed it here on the podcast. We all know who the or what the biggest need is for the San Francisco Giants. and that is the starting pitching realm, right? I mean, we talk about Freddie Peralta, we talk about Tarek Skubal, which also, by the way, looks like I don't know if he's going to the Dodgers, but he's rumored to have interest from the Los Angeles Dodgers. And hell, why wouldn't you? But then also, it's like, where the hell is he going to pitch? Where they already have like six starters. I mean, what are we going to do here? But yeah, I mean, you look at all these pitchers that are being floated around. I didn't ask him about Mackenzie Gore because there was a report earlier this week that Mackenzie Gore was getting a lot of interest at the winter meetings. At least 15 teams at that point. This was a couple of days ago. 15 teams at that point reached out with interest in Mackenzie Gore. Were the Giants one of those teams? Because I think most importantly, because obviously I would love to have Framber Valdez, but I think that is a pipe dream, not necessarily a pipe dream. Let me dial it back, because the Giants did meet with Framber Valdez a month ago, apparently, as John Morosi reported back at in Las Vegas at the GM meetings. But the thing about Framber is it's going to cost you the dollar amount that the Giants have said in the past that they are not willing to go for. But Zach Gallen is one of those guys that he could potentially fall in the price range of the San Francisco Giants, but you still have vacancies in your starting rotation. So then do you turn around and trade a Bryce Eldridge? Do you trade a Patrick Bailey, right? You know, like who do you trade? Who's on the market right now? Who could you get? Who could you get for a Patrick Bailey and a Bryce Eldridge? I would think that for Bryce, I think that gets you in the conversation. At least you grab the attention of the Nationals, because they're not anywhere near contending or anything like that. They're in the rebuild stage, and they have a lot of young talent there. CJ Abrams is someone else that a lot of teams are inquiring about as well. I mean, if there's some type of package that can get you CJ Abrams and Mackenzie Gore, I mean, hell, I would do that yesterday, you know? So it's really interesting to follow it around and just to see what can potentially happen with the Giants. But I think the priority is known. I mean, Shea talked about it. We've talked about it here on the podcast. The priority is starting pitching. And there is a handful of guys that are out there right now. Zach Gallen, Michael King, obviously the connection with Max Scherzer, that'll probably happen at one point or another. But Michael King and who else is available? Drawing a blank. Did I say Framber? Yeah, Framber Valdez as well in the starting pitching free agency position. So with their draft position increasing, I think that for me anyway, just my mentality would be, I'm going to get a guy here at 4. I don't necessarily need to be conservative with upping the farm system with these other picks that would cost you if you were to get a guy with a qualifying offer. So yeah, we'll have to definitely see what's going on here with the Giants. Winter meetings is concluding. It's just about done. I mean, it's Wednesday night. I think that there's a little bit going on tomorrow, but that's about it. But let's go out to the YouTube chat, because you guys have been in here patiently talking with me for quite some time. And look at Rockin' in here way early. He was in here at like 5 or 4:50. Heyo, yep. What's up, Rockin'? Good to see you, man. Let's see what else we got going on here. Rockin' New Era. Mike Val's in here. Mike. Rockin'. AJ is in here. What is up? R. Galvin is in here. Good to see you, R. Galvin. Appreciate you stopping by here in the podcast. Let's see here. Rockin' asked earlier. I think my thing's froze. Give me 1 second, guys. Are the Giants ownership willing to defer money with players? I think that deferrals is actually something that does happen in baseball. It just pissed us off when the Dodgers did it, and the way they did it, right? I mean, they went and got Shohei Ohtani and deferred like 90% of his contract to where he's making like $1 million a year. Like that is just idiotic. It just pisses me off. But deferrals are normal. I just think that nowadays, because that was so ridiculous, now all these other contracts are having deferrals, or at least we're being told about it, right? I think that it was something that was happening. in front offices, but it wasn't necessarily, wasn't necessarily publicized like it is now. And because of the Shohei Ohtani deal, I think that it publicized it way too much. But let's see what else we got going on here. Love that question. It makes the most sense to put out there. Yeah, for sure. Let's see what else we got going on here. Reported. Let's see. You guys talking about dollars. It's been reported that we will have Yankee money franchise value wise by 2030. Makes sense to do it now. That's not far into the future. Yeah, man. I mean, shit. If they're valued like the dot or like the Yankees, that'd be pretty cool. Let's see. Okay, Mike's talking about the draft. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into the draft stuff. I was just thinking about the thought process, right? The thought process of you get a top 5 pick and your odds of getting a guy like a dude increase drastically. Whether like 1 through 5 versus you're drafting in 14, where the Giants would have been drafting due to their positioning with their win percentage. It just drastically improves the odds of you are going to get a guy, which means for me, I mean, yeah, you could double down and just continue to draft well and all that kind of stuff. But for me, I would try to put all my resources into that and, not worry about the draft picks that you would be giving up if you were to sign someone with a qualifying offer. But let's see what else we got here. Oh, by the way, Randy Wynn, I should have pulled it up. I didn't do it. I was running a little late here, but Randy Wynn's face, I was dying, bro, when I was watching the draft reveal. And I think it was Greg Amsinger, which by the way, shout out Greg Amsinger for predicting Justin Verlander to get 17 wins last year. That was a bad take. But yeah, I think it was Greg Amsinger who pulled out the number 4, and then it was the Giants, right? That was the card. And they pan over to Randy Wynn, and Randy Wynn's just like sitting there. He's just like this. And then he kind of like glances up. He does like a little side eye, like he's excited. He's like, it was pretty funny. I gotta look that up. If you guys can find that, send it to my Twitter. I'll pull it up here. But let's see what else you guys got going on here. The YouTube chat. Shea, hey, yeah, Shay's an awesome dude. He's a great dude, and I do got to thank him for stopping by. Do you guys hear that? By the way, it's a notification. John Heyman, Mets are moving in the wrong direction fast. John Heyman. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I'm definitely hearing that. So my apologies if that's bleeding over into the broadcast here. But John Shea of the SF Standard, really appreciate him stopping by. A lot of great stuff, and hopefully we can talk to him again soon. So let's see what else we got going on here. You guys talking about McRibs? What's up, AJ? Good to see you, man. Why does this freeze? I'm about to get passionate with a McRib. Hell yeah, dude, get that McRib. Which, by the way, I don't know how I feel about a McRib, man. I saw it when I was ordering McDonald's earlier this week. Maybe it was last week, and I saw it on the app, and I was just like, I don't know. I don't know if that. I don't know how that. I don't know how I feel about that. to be honest, I really don't. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever try a McRib. If it is good, I'll try it. But I think I'm going to steer clear right now. Let's see. Walter, I've heard. Let's see, Mike Val. What's up, Mike? Good to see you, man. Walter, I've heard rumors MLB draft picks will be available for use in trades last couple years. Your thoughts? Yeah, I would love for that to be the case. I don't know. I don't understand why that hasn't been the case for Major League Baseball. Baseball does a lot of things ass backwards. I will say that. I mean, I love the game of baseball. I love everything to do with the game. Well, not everything to do with the game, but I love the game of baseball. Hall of Fame, that's another conversation for another day when we're not talking winter meetings. But the Hall of Fame, dude. I mean, they just look. See, I wasn't even going to talk about it. Now it's pissing me off. But baseball just does a lot of things ass backwards. I really don't understand half the things that they do. Very backwards thinking, very, very, very old ways of things thinking. I don't know how else to put it, but am I for trading draft picks? Yes, I am, because you do that in every other sport. Mind you, I don't know about hockey. Maybe you can't trade draft picks in hockey, but at least NFL and basketball, I know for damn sure you can trade you can trade draft picks in those sports. So I'm all for it. It'd be interesting to see if that was to happen. Mike Val chiming in. I like hearing John say Susak is likely the backup catcher, if not. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, he did say Susak will be the backup catcher. He is the leading candidate, right? Things can change. They can sign somebody. I don't know how things are going, but I mean, it does look, everything is all pointing for Daniel Susak, brother of Andrew Susak, to be the backup catcher for the Giants. So they're taking care of that. I mean, when you go to the needs for the Giants, a lot of it is the pitching staff. Obviously, we have the bullpen, but bullpen can get worked out internally. I will say that bullpen can get turned out or be reworked internally as far as arms go. The Giants do have a lot of arms in their system, so there could be somebody else that comes up, and obviously Randy Rodriguez. He's not going to be there for the first portion of the year, but bullpen is something that they do need to improve. Starting pitching, we all know that. Right field, we all know that. But backup catcher was a position because that was part of the reason why you don't want to put blame elsewhere, because Patrick Bailey is a major league player. He does need to condition his body and learn how to do that, and after his first couple of full seasons at the backstop, but not having a backup catcher can drastically hinder you as a catcher, a reliable one at that. I mean, they had Tom Murphy, but I mean, he played like 2 games, right? I mean, they didn't really have a backup catcher at that point. So yeah, I mean, having someone there that could be reliable, that can be there every third day, right? I mean, that would be great just for mentality's sake, right? Like you're not going out there expecting to be in the crouch for 162. You know what I mean? Like you have someone, and when you're not there, you have someone that's incapable. I think that the Giants are thrilled with their pickup of Susak, and it'll be interesting to see how that all unfolds. But they are addressing the needs slowly but surely. So we'll have to see what else is going on with the Giants at the winter meetings. But let's continue to go into the YouTube chat real quick. Pat H, filthy Pat H. What's up, Pat? Good to see you here. The Giants can't draft for shit. That is true. That has been a hindrance. But hey, if you get a top 5 pick, dude, top 5 pick, it increases your odds. It increases your odds, baby. So let's see what they can end up doing in that regard. But let's see. I don't trust the Giants scouts. Does Posey have an eye for talent or prospects? You would think so, but then also what John was talking about there, when we were talking about Vitello and the importance of that draft pick, he's been around the game. He's talked to these guys, and like John even pointed out, Vitello probably helped or tried to recruit some of these guys to get him to his college, right? To get him on his team. So yeah, I mean the knowledge for Vitello could be very it could help out the process 100%. So we'll have to see how the Giants go about that. But I mean, having a top 5 pick it's really important, and the Giants definitely have to capitalize on that to definitely increase their farm value, if you will. Let's see what else we got going on here in the YouTube chat when it comes to deferring things. Derek Papa and Otani. Yeah, Derek's gonna defer his gifts, right? Dude, that's hilarious. That is crazy. Let's see. I gotta see Randy. I wouldn't do it. I'll call in 10 minutes. Passion. Dom, what's up, dude? Good to see you in here, Dom. We always love to see you in here. I'm trying to get your damn comment up here. Give me 1 second. There it is. Passion. Yes. What's up, Dom? Good to see you in here tonight for sure. Let's see what else we got going on here in the YouTube chat. Let's see. Vitello knows the next 4 to 5 years of upcoming kids, and he will play a vital role in the draft and shaping the organization. I do believe that to be the case. I don't think that was his sole purpose of coming here, but he has to be an evaluator of talent, right? I mean, he's been in college, and his job is to identify and recruit, top prospect players, right? And you would think that he has an eye. I mean, somebody mentioned there, like, does the Giants organization have an eye for talent? I would think that Tony Vitello does. I mean, maybe not in the major league ranks, but as far as what he's looking for in a young prospect and a young player going through college, I think that Tony Vitello is definitely going to be helping you more than hurting you in that regard. When it comes to the scouting and the prospect of having some of these guys. So I do see that I have a phone call here. I'm going to get on out of here shortly. So let's get this phone call in here really quickly, and let's get out to the phones, to the cruise line. A-Day Cruise hasn't called in a while, but it is Rockin' New Era, which, by the way, did meet with Rockin' over the weekend. And Rockin', I don't know if you can see it, but I do have the infant Blue Jay hat on the screen. So thank you, my friend, for that. What's up, Rockin'? How you doing tonight?
What's good, Walter? What's going on?
What's up, bro? I'm just talking Giants baseball and all the thrilling moves that they've been doing in the winter meetings.
Oh yeah, it's like nonstop. You can't keep up with all the moves they made.
Dude, I know. There's been like 5 things that have happened since I've started this podcast. So hard to keep up.
More like 5 spots.
What's up, dude? How you doing tonight? You like the interview with John Shea?
All right.
You like John Shea stopping by the pod?
Yeah, I liked it. Informative. I mean, obviously, nothing much going on right now, so
yeah,
there's really not much he can really report or really say. So
yeah.
But even then, it's still nice to hear him. He's very insightful.
Yeah, no, he definitely has a lot to say there. And when we were talking about the outfield, he's kind of on the wavelength that with me with Harrison Bader. It makes a lot of sense for the Giants. So I hope that is something that they end up doing at some point or another. But I didn't ask him the one question at the end. I didn't ask him what Matt Vasgersian asked Buster Posey. I don't know if you guys heard that or saw it. We've been playing it on the midday show a couple of times, but Matt Vasgersian said, when it's all said and done for the Giants this offseason, what's more likely, a trade or a sign or a free agent signing? And then Buster kind of looked at him. He's just like 50-50. So I wanted to ask John what his answer to that question would have been. What do you think is more likely for the Giants, a sign or a trade? But I think the answer probably would have been a trade. I think that's the way that we're going.
He could have responded like Kyle. I don't even know if we're going to be alive.
Yeah, dude. If Buster would have dropped that on Matt Vasgersian, I would have lost it. That would have been my new ringtone. For sure, if he would have dropped that on Matt Vasgersian, that would have been great. That would have been incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a very slow off season. I don't know if we should tame our expectations. I don't know. I mean, we might just end up signing someone very late.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be late like Blake Snell, that type of late.
You would hope not, right? I mean, I think the cutoff for signing a pitcher should be like mid-January. I think that should be the cutoff, because you gotta get them into the offseason routine and get them ready for pitchers and catchers to report, because they report, I believe, that that Tuesday or something after the Super Bowl, I think, is when pitchers and catchers report. Not exactly sure on the date, but I know they report mid or early February.
Okay. I mean, I don't see a pitcher being signed that late. I mean, I haven't seen any pitchers out there being an ass like Blake Snell and his agent Scott Boras.
Right.
So,
right.
but even then, I do see like someone signing late, not like a superstar, but a decent pickup at least.
For the Giants,
that could be beneficial to the roster. Yeah,
for the Giants. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know if that's the way of business for Buster Posey. I mean, we're still starting to kind of learn what Buster is all about, right? I mean, last year he came in guns blazing, signed Willie Adames, and got things rolling, quickly. But this year there's not really a lot. Now are they trying to find the best deal? I think that's probably what it is. I don't think that they're sitting on their on their ass and twiddling their thumbs. I don't think that they're doing that. I think that they are being.
You don't think they're forehorning?
No, I don't think so at all, because it seems like the Giants keep coming up in these negotiations, right? I mean, they came up with Kyle Schwarber, which again, I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I wanted him. I put him in there at number 4, but in my heart, I knew that he wasn't coming to San Francisco. I knew that Kyle Schwarber wasn't going to be a Giant. I actually found it hard to believe that he would be leaving Philadelphia. And then, so I wasn't really worried about that per se, but the Giants, I mean, when you look at everything else that has been coming out, like Framber Valdez, they talked on him. Like, I don't know if they're just trying to gauge the market so that where they can get Zach Gallen, right, to see how high he's going to be, so they can evaluate like Dylan Cease and Framber Valdez, so they can see how high their ceiling is, so that they can see kind of where the market is materializing with Zach Gallen, like, or if they have actual interest in Framber Valdez, right? So, but they at least talked to him, and they were listed as one of 3 teams. The Orioles and which, by the way, the Orioles went and got Pete Alonso. I don't know if that changes things for them. It doesn't sound like it did, but I hope that it did, because that takes just another team out of the running for Framber. But the Mets were included in that as well. So you're hearing little things here and there. They have interest in Brandon Donovan and trading for him possibly. They have interest in Harrison Bader. They have interest. So they're interested, and they're talking to a lot of agents. So they're being active. We know that they have a pulse. It's just we want them to pull the trigger. But will it be tomorrow? Will it be this week? Will it be before Christmas? Will it be before my kids here? Will it be before the Super Bowl? I don't know. I mean, time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, but you, as a Giants fan, you also have to be aware that we're always tied to certain players. They're always in talks, and we end up being the bridesmaid and not the bride. I mean, we kind of have a history of that too.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. They have come in second place. But again, I mean, we knew we weren't getting Kyle Schwarber. Like, I don't even know if that could have been, again, last week when we were talking about Kyle Schwarber and the prospect of him coming, I was like, is that just hey, I'm just calling to see how you're doing. It's been a while. How you been? How's the family? Or was that, hey, do you want to come play for the San Francisco Giants? Like, what kind of phone call was that? What kind of check-in was it? Was it, again, just trying to gauge the market because they're looking at that bat? Maybe they're looking at a Cody Bellinger. Maybe they're looking at a Harrison Bader. I don't know if they're, looking at Kyle Tucker, but maybe they're just trying to gauge the market, and they're doing their due diligence. I mean, maybe there's a deal to be had. You have to be at least a little bit excited that they're willing to talk on these guys. When Scott Boras did bring up the Giants, I got excited, but again, I'm not gonna drink the Kool-Aid this time. I'm just gonna let it be. I'm just gonna let it happen and see what happens here. Dom Peralta in the YouTube chat, really quick, rocking, brings up Freddie Peralta on the radar. Is that somebody that you would want? Is that somebody that you would trade for? I wouldn't trade Bryce Eldridge for that, because as I was talking with John Shea, if you were to trade your prospect, and again, prospects are prospects, you don't know what they're going to turn into, but I would, at least because he is the top prospect in the Giants organization and the most hype guy that we've had in quite some time, I would at least try to get a pitcher that is that's here for longevity, right? And that's a Mackenzie Gore. That's a I believe a Hunter Green, right? Like guys like that. I would love to have Tarek Skubal if you were to sign him, but you just get him for the year. And the same thing with Freddie Peralta. So how do you feel about that with Freddie Peralta? If there was some other route to get him, I mean, would you want him on this pitching staff?
Sure. I mean, why not? But like you said, it also depends what you're giving up. Definitely not giving up Eldridge for him. But if we can add him for a couple of decent prospects, that's the thing. Other than Eldridge, other teams might be interested in.
Yeah, I mean, with the Giants organization, I think that people are interested in Jesus Rodriguez, right? I think that they'll be interested in that. I think that they'll be interested in the shortstop, Josar Gonzalez, right? I think that they'll be interested in that. I don't know if there's any interest in like Reggie Crawford or anything like that along those lines. I think that's kind of far removed. But Hayden Birdsong will have interest. Landon Roop, obviously, Carson Wizahunt potentially, but you're not going to trade pitching for pitching, right? That's just redundant. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like that's what we need. We need pitching.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. But as far as like position players, Luis Matos could have a little bit. They probably won't get you a Freddie Peralta, but it'll get you somebody. It'll get you like a fifth starter, and that might be something that they need is a number 5 or a depth piece. But outside of Eldridge, I think you're right. Unless you are willing to part ways with Elliot Ramos and part ways with and both of these guys, it's possible. Elliot Ramos and Patrick Bailey. I think that that's something that we can maybe see. Now, then the other question would be, what could you get for them? Like what tier of a pitcher could you get for Elliot Ramos or a Patrick Bailey, right? So I would love to see them make a move. It's just, again, what the return will be for the Giants. But I think that as far as value it's Patrick Bailey and it's Elliot Ramos from the major league roster, unless you're digging into the top tier of your prospects. And then, the other thing is Jung-Hoo Lee. Can Jung-Hoo Lee be made available in trade? They'd have to eat a lot of that contract, but maybe they can get somebody that is kind of like a reclamation project, because the Giants have in the past with Carlos Rodon, with Kevin Gausman, with Alex Cobb, like with guys like that, they've turned them into pretty damn decent pitchers. Hell, even Zach Littell, bro, he was starting games for the Rays last year. Like that's crazy. So yeah, maybe they can find a reclamation project for a Jung-Hoo Lee. But again, I haven't looked around too much, so maybe next week I'll have a better answer for
you. Next week, you're gonna be on next week.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I won't be. I might be doing something else next week. So we'll see. We take it one day at a time, right? Take it one day at a time, Rockin'.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I mean, if it was up to Derek, he'd be like, "Can I defer the baby due date?"
Yeah, if I could defer the baby due date to January, yeah, no. That's funny. Let's see what else is here. Oh, Mike's chiming in on the Freddie Peralta. He doesn't like it, but hey, did you hear that? By the way, did you hear that little bloop? Did you hear that, or is that just me?
Notification. I heard it.
Oh, damn. Okay, has it been coming over through the screen also through the chat?
I don't know. This is the first time I have heard it, so I might not be paying that close attention.
Well, that
doesn't bother me.
That's good to know. Well, Rockin', dude, appreciate you calling in tonight and talking some Giants baseball with me. Really, look at that. My guest list consisted of John Shea and Rockin' New Era. Look at that. It's a great show.
Call in. It's a cruise line, for God's sake.
Yeah, dude. Still waiting for Tacky to call me. Tacky hasn't called me yet. Too busy bowling.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah, he's not gonna call me. Yeah. He'll never call.
Are you gonna pass by on Friday by any chance? I mean, I know your situation.
Unlikely stopping by. Unlikely stopping by.
Okay, well,
yeah.
Hopefully, I'm able to meet up with you on the side just to give you one more thing.
Oh yeah, bro. Yeah,
before you get busy. So.
We'll link up for sure.
Well, I'll keep in touch with you.
All right, bro. Yeah, souned good. Rocket, thank you for.
I appreciate it, Walter.
Hey,
have a good one.
At least I didn't give you a maybe this time. I'm telling you straight up. Nope, I'm not gonna be there.
I know. Look at that.
Look at that.
Being a future dad has changed me.
I know. Being a dad has changed me, bro. I'm different. I'm different now. For the better. Yeah. All right, bro.
I appreciate it, Walter. Talk to you later.
I'll talk to you later. All right, that was Rocket New Era, and we do have one more phone call. I'll get it in here really quickly, then I'm gonna get on out of here. Dom Peralta is saying something, but it is the cruise line, so we do have to talk to AJ Cruz. How's the McRib treating you, bro?
Oh man, it was so good. I mean, like I'm smiling like a fool right now. I heard Rocky like talking about baseball. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm happy right now, and it was good. And I got a McFrappe too to top it off. I'm like just treating myself because I got an hour drive home. I'm in Livermore right now, so I'm just taking my time.
You sound tired. You sound tired, bro. You good to drive?
No. Oh, I'm fine. Trust me. Right. I stopped off my wife. My wife was having her office. This is a holiday party over here at Livermore. I stopped off to say hi. I felt kind of janky hanging around to crash the spread. So I bounced, but I'm like, you know what? I want to make rib. Damn it, this is America, and I got one. I'm just happy right now, bro.
What kind of food did they have? What kind of spread did they have at the holiday party?
Oh, I don't know. I left before they brought it out. I mean, man. Jackie would have told you everything.
You gotta at least take inventory of what's there. Like, do they have cheese squares? They got something good there. Come on, bro. Got to stock up.
Oh, you can get the cheese squares.
Get a to-go box.
No, you can get the cheese squares anywhere, man. The McRib is here for a limited time. Priorities, Walter. Priorities.
Okay.
All right. Damn, I got to explain it to you, Walter. Jeez.
No. You know, hey, you know what? Something about me. I love cheese, bro. If there's cheese anywhere, I will devour it. It doesn't agree with my stomach sometimes. But yeah, no, dude. I'm a cheese head. Cheese head.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you had burgers, and then you had cheeseburgers. Freaking game changer. Okay, throw some bacon on that shit.
Dude, I eat cheese straight out of the package.
Oh man, my grandfather used to sit on the couch watching like some old like Mexican movies, and he was sitting there with a block of cheese and a knife, and he would just like lop off hunks and just sitting there and just. I'm thinking that can't be good for your heart, but he didn't give a you didn't care. He was just like
Oh yeah,
and dude. I would come like
that's the best.
And then I'll be like, hey, yo, Pop, that cheese looks good. Why don't you give me that look like get out of here? And then he'd lop off like a few more pieces, and he'd cut a little one for me, and then he'd just keep going. Yeah, my pop didn't care, dude. He would just sit there and just boom, smashing the cheese. So
oh yeah, bro. So, dude, I have a block of Parmesan cheese in the fridge that I occasionally cut into, and I just gnaw on that piece of cheese. Yeah.
You know what? Parmesan is something I think that doesn't get enough respect, because usually you'll get like you go to like a restaurant or something, and you'll get that fake powdery like processed crap Parmesan. Yeah, it's kind of like whatever.
Yeah.
Like it'll be there like 3 years. It'll still be good. You just gotta like hit the container to break it up a little bit. But you go and you get like a actual little container of some actual like Parmesan cheese that you got to keep in the fridge. Oh, yeah, that makes the difference. That makes the difference. So you know what, Walter?
So good, yeah.
I just got some respect for you.
Oh, appreciate it. As if you could respect me any more than you already did. But dude, AJ, appreciate you, man. Real quick.
Oh man, you're my guy. You're my guy, Walt.
Real quick before I let you go and before I get on out of here, how are you feeling about the Giants? Do you think they're going to make a move? You think that they're that there's something looming? Do you think there's going to be a big trade? Do you think there's a big signing? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I think there's going to be there's going to be something. We can't just go into this and not come out with anything. I mean, as you were saying earlier, Buster had made some moves this past offseason. We got Adamas, we got Devers. So it's not like Buster's afraid to pull the trigger, unlike who's always like making excuses and stuff. Yeah, we're gonna get somebody now. Is that gonna be like the next big thing? I don't know, but you know what? Let's give Buster some. Let's have a little faith in Buster, rather. He's showing us that he's not afraid to go for it. So he's plotting something. It may not be splashy and it may not be immediate, but we're gonna get something. We'll get something. I have faith in it.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of Giants fans, you included, and me included, I think we all feel the same way. Is that we kind of have a faith in Buster Posey that he'll get something done, right? And maybe it won't be right now. I mean, the winter meetings, I mean, it gets hyped up, right? And when something doesn't happen at the winter meetings, a lot of people kind of get discouraged. But what I will say about the winter meetings and from just listening to Buster and his interviews on MLB Network and all that, just him saying, something that we played on the show yesterday was what he loves about the winter meetings is that he can get in the room with an executive and talk to them face to face. And what that tells me is that Buster is busting his ass, no pun intended, but he is busting his ass trying to get these conversations rolling. And that's the main thing about the winter meetings. Maybe you don't come away with the big shiny toy like we did last year with Willie Adames, but right now the building block of the offseason is the winter meetings, and it's these conversations that start at the GM meetings before we even get to the winter meetings that started in Las Vegas, and they continue into the winter meetings and continue into the offseason. So I do have a lot of faith in Buster, and just to hear him say that and talk about his willingness and wanting to get in a room with all these other executives, I do feel that there is something brewing. Maybe it's not necessarily the big flashy free agents, but I do think that there'll be a trade or two in the coming months. So we'll have to see what Buster has up his sleeve. But you said it there, and I'll reiterate: Giants fans have a lot of faith in Buster Posey.
Yeah, and like nobody wanted to take Farhan seriously. Nobody wanted to meet with him. Nobody wanted to hear what he had to say because they knew he was full of it. So I mean, that's a big difference right there. Buster just being there, being present. People know, and that does play a lot into his abilities. As in, he was a player, he was a winner, he was a champion. Everybody loves him, everybody respects him, and that's gonna only give him the benefit of the doubt in these early goings. So what the future has to hold, we'll see. But I mean, as long as he shows that he's not afraid to go for a big player, to try and swing some trades and try to always improve. I mean, that's he's doing his job, which is to make moves, which is to try to improve. Whereas Farhan was just keeping the sea warm for Buster. So speaking of Buster, my boss, he's from New York, and he was telling us a story that he grew up in Brooklyn and he used to live across the street from Buster Rhymes when he was a kid. So they're like childhood friends. And like a couple of days ago, like some stupid little TikToker tried to pull a fast one on Buster, and Buster was like, "Man, what's wrong with you?" Called him out, like worded him up, and my boss came to show me. He goes, "Hey, I texted Buster after that thing on that TikTok kid, and he showed me Buster's reply, and sure enough, it was Buster, man."
Wow.
Yeah. So
does your boss have any connection to Diddy by any chance?
Oh no. Diddy.
Hey! I just had to ask, bro. Have you been watching that documentary, by the way? But I've been meaning to, dude. I binged it over the weekend, and I love a petty 50 Cent. I loved it. I loved it. It was great.
A petty 50 is the best, man.
Dude.
There was a picture. There was a picture of Diddy on a bike. This was like from a couple years ago. A picture of Diddy on a bike, and 50 was like, yeah, and he was smiling like he was pedaling somewhere, right? And then 50 was like, yeah, he's smiling because there's no seat on that bike. It's like, damn,
dude.
Yeah. 50 50 is savage, man. 50 is like
50 is crazy. Yeah, no, he's we don't deserve 50. We don't deserve 50 Cent. But dude, yeah, definitely watch that documentary. I highly recommend it. But AJ, bro, appreciate you chiming in on the podcast tonight. As I told Rockin', I mean, we had a hell of a show tonight. We had John Shea to be the leadoff hitter. Then we had Rockin' coming in batting third, and then we had the cleanup with AJ Cruz. So dude, appreciate you calling in as always, and it was a lot of fun talking to some Giants ball and just getting into the McRib and everything, bro. If I don't talk to you next week, happy holidays to you, man. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas.
All right, on. Well, back to you, and keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully, if baby gets here, that'll be the perfect Christmas gift. So, right on, brother.
All right, thank you, bro. All right, that was AJ Cruz, and that is where I ended tonight, guys. I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode of the podcast. We'll get at it. We'll get back to it next week, pending. We'll have to see. I'll keep you guys posted. But the plan is for us to get back to here and talk some Giants baseball next Wednesday, the 17th. But I have a feeling that I probably won't be doing that. So you guys have a good one. Otis, I did see you come in here. Yeah, go back and rewatch it. We had John Shea on at the top of the show. Talk some Giants baseball live from the winter meetings in Orlando. So definitely check that out, Otis, and thank you for stopping by. But everybody else, thank you all for calling in. Rocket New Era, thank you for calling in. AJ Cruz, thank you for calling in. Don Peralta, thank you for stopping by. R. Galvin, Lori Galvin was in here as well. Thank you all for stopping by and talking some ball with me tonight. So you guys have a good one. Be safe. And happy holidays and Merry Christmas, just in case if I don't talk to you guys before that happens. You guys be safe and take care, and I'll talk to you soon.